We're in an area about 2 kilometres up from the village of Newcastle in County Tipperary, of course, on the foothills of the Knockmail Down Mountains. And we're on our way down to a holy well, or 2 holy wells that are within a few feet of each other, and it's in an area called Sean Seipeal. It's a small, narrow, I don't know what you call it, boreen, a little lane, wall on the one side on my right by about a 6-foot wall, and there's different things happen on the way down to it. Still on our way down to the holy well. This is what's left of a stile, what they call a stile here. There's a stone, a flat stone here. You stand here and put the other leg up on the wall. And the reason why that is there, at the other side there was a semblance of a church, at least where masses used to be said during the penal times, and people would cross over here when they thought it was safe to attend mass. In other cases it wasn't exactly a building, it was just probably the likes of a mass rock, and people would gather outside the ditches because they would be punished for attending mass, and they would be covered if they weren't actually inside and in the spot where the priest was saying mass. The priest and the altar boys, if you call them that, would be the only people that would be penalised for saying the mass. And they used to come here in their hundreds. It's now all overgrown. It's full of trees and foliage. At that time it would have been farmland, none of these bushes and trees here, because this would have been a busy spot on their way down to the wells. Even though a holy well, people would still use this place, like the nearby ruins of houses, for water for the household. We're only yards here from the well. It's only about 20 yards just here, but on this spot would have been where the old church, the Sean Seipeal they call it, or just around this area, because there's a high rise of land, and that's where the people would have gathered. On this flat spot around here is more than likely is where the old church, or Sean Seipeal as they call it, that means old church, stood on this spot. This would have been an ideal spot for it, and they would have plenty shelter from the walls or around there. What's unusual about this well, the Sean Seipeal well, is there's 2 wells and they're within 6 feet of each other. This well here, you can see the rocks are marking it that there's fresh water coming out here, and the nearby well is only 6 feet away. You'd wonder why there was 2 of them, but there is 2. And of course they're almost forgotten. Been here a long time, and being so secluded, and with the advent of people getting water from the council in by pipes and all, that they don't use these wells anymore. And this is what happens, these wells get forgotten about. And this Sean Seipeal well is not very much visited. I suppose a few people come down. On the trek down through it, the grass wasn't flattened, so we know that there's not a lot of people that come down here. This is the main Sean Seipeal well. When I say it's the main well, it's twice as big as the one behind me. And the people that lived around here, remember before the famine, there was a hell of a lot of people that lived around these, and the homesteads that are long gone now. And that little laneway down used to come down to this stream, that people would do their washing in this stream, and they'd get their fresh water from the well here. And that, of course, we're talking about pre-famine times and back along. But people used to come here and say prayers at this well, but that is fastly disappearing. And of course, as we're always willing to point out, there's the usual holly trees grown by the well, and every well I've ever seen has been accompanied by holly trees, and they're grown in profusion around here. Believe it or not, this used to be the main road to Cappoquin, and it's just about 100 yards down from the Holy Well up there. So this would have been on that main road. This little passage was actually a main road at one time.